Hi, this is Josh and Nick, and we're presenting the map of maycomb in Minecraft. And first off, this is a school.
Where Scout goes to, and these are desks that they would sit at and learn.
And the quote for this was on page 20. Hours of winter time had found me in the treehouse, looking over at the schoolyard, spying on the children. And this is Boo Radley's house, and this is the oak tree that no one...
Fruit that did not grow on.
Yeah. And then if we go in, it's just Boo Radley's house, and he was in the 20s, and he liked to
hang out with the finches.
Yeah, and have fun. And then this is a see-through tree that he has.
So you can obviously see through it.
Yeah.
And then we have this finch's house.
Yep. And then this is Dill, and his quote was on page 160. It ain't right. Somehow it ain't right to do them that way. Hasn't anybody got any business talking like that? It makes me sick. The next is Scout, and her quote was page 108. Scout said to Atticus, N-word lover. Sons of those terms that don't mean nothing. And then Jem, his quote was on page 75. Do you defend N-word, Atticus? And Atticus said yes. And the next one was Atticus. And it was on page 108. Are you an N-word lover, Scout asked. Atticus said yes. I tried to defend everybody. And then this is Aunt Alexandria. And she used to live in the Finch's Landing. But then she moved to the Finch's house. And her quote is on page 33. Don't you talk like that, Dill said. Aunt Alexandria, it's nothing but an adult or cynical. And then there's books here because Scout likes to read.
Yeah.
And then
we have the tree house, so it's right next. It's right behind their house.
Yeah, that the finches like to go in.
Yep.
And then this is just
like a little tree house, and that's like the telescope that Scout would look through to look at the school.
Yeah.
And there was some books in there because she likes to read.
And the quote for that is on page 11. Me and the treehouse looking over at the schoolyard through the telescope, and then so yeah, that's a treehouse. And then we go over to Calpurnia. This is Calpurnia, and her quote was on page 140. Folks don't like to have somebody that knowing more than they do. And that's her quote. And it was on page 140. And then Miss Maddie's house, and Maddie Atkinson is in it, and her quote is on page 44. There are just some kind of men who are so busy are thinking about the next world that they do not live in this world. And this is Miss Dubow's house, and we'll save that for last. And this is Heck Tate, and he's not in this, but he's right here. And his quote is, I'm not a very good minister, but I am sheriff of Maycomb County. I lived here all my life. And then going to the jail. These are the prisoners. And then yeah. And then inside it is just one cell. And
then all the like animals just spawned in there.
yeah. And the quote for this is ugliest this is the ugliest building in town. Only wide enough for one jail cell, and it is 2 stories tall. And that was on page 20. And then
The courthouse.
yeah, we're gonna go and move to the courthouse. And the quote for the courthouse was, the courthouse sagged in the square. And that was on page 6.
And then you have Judge John Taylor and then Tom Robinson.
Yeah, and then Judge John Taylor her quote was page 97. There has been a request that the courtroom be cleared of all the women and children because, yeah, that was on page 97. And then Tom Robinson, his quote was on page 125. Tom says to Atticus, You seem like a mighty good fellow. It seems like you did this for not 1 penny. And this is where the visitors came in.
Like came and just watched the trial go on.
Yeah. And then moving on to the Ewell place.
You have Robert and Malia.
Mayella, yeah. And then Mayella, a quote for her was on page 165. Mayella can't recognize Atticus' politeness or compassion. That shows how different her world is from ours. And then Robert Ewell was on page 84. It seemed that black N-word you defend was touching Mayella, and then that was a Mayella house.
And the house right there, this is Miss Avery's house.
Yeah, and Miss Avery is a good girl that
She liked to talk to everybody.
yeah.
And
then
up here, we have Uncle Jack.
yeah, and then his quote was on page 99. I said to Atticus, I do not like this, and I will do what I want and stick up for myself. And then this is Walter Cunningham's house. He's just little, so that's his parents. And then his quote was on page 15. I don't feel too out of place. Then people are back there because they got held back too. And then that's that.
Then we have the post office,
Yeah.
and we just added it. That's where you'd put your mail, where those 4 like boxes are.
Yeah. And then their quote for the post office was post office. Oh, we didn't have one for that. And then, but
Behind it, we have the Finch Landing,
yep.
and that's where Aunt Alexandria lived before she came to the Finch's house, and that's where she lives now, obviously.
Yeah, and then
We just said, welcome to the Finch's Landing.
yeah, and there's just people in there. And then the quote for this was on page 6. The Fitch family home stead is not too far from Maycomb. It's not Maycomb, but it's not too far from it.
Yeah, it's like 20 miles.
Yeah.
And then,
The courthouse?
no. Well, that's it because we got all of our houses done with, so I hope you like it.
No,
and-
we're not done.
Oh, we're not
We
done.
have Miss Dubause's house, and Miss Dubause is, yeah.
So this is Miss Dubause's house, and obviously it wouldn't look like this because it's gonna get burnt down later in the story.
Yeah,
So,
so
like,
it was getting burned down.
yeah, like it's all burning now.
Yeah.
So this is her house now because it's gonna be burned. Well, that was it, Miss Spees. I hope you liked Josh.
No.
Josh and I.
No. We have a Alabama quote and a Macomb County quote still. And the Alabama quote was, "The miles of construction are far from Alabama." And it was on page 32. And the Macomb County was, Macomb was a tired old town. And that was on page 5. And I hope you like our presentation.
Yep, thank you.